Earlier on, Ian, you mentioned the fact that you mentioned a specific thing that the BBC have done to Doctor Who. The word begins with an R, and I don't, I've never gone that far, but I think that the thing that they've done, which I cannot excuse, I find absolutely beyond the pale. And I saw this happening at the start 3 years ago. They weaponized Doctor Who in the culture war, in this weird war of the sexes that's been farted into existence unnecessarily out of nowhere by people with an agenda. And the BBC weaponized this lovely show and this wonderful mythology in that. And I can never forgive them for it. I mean, it depends if the BBC becomes whatever the next incarnation is going to be, some bigger version of BBC Studios.
But you know what, Dan? Do you know what, Dan? Right, seriously though, think about this, right? Did they literally sit round the table, Chibnall and the writers, and go, right, we need to literally cut the balls off males in this show? What do we do? Do you know what I mean? Do they actually sit there and plan this out and go, right, we want to make a statement, we want to destroy this thing? What was said?
I think it goes higher than that. I think it's the BBC that have that ethos at this moment in time. That's exactly my feeling on it. So it's just sort of dripped down into the Doctor Who production of this.
I would question you on that, Simon. Bear in mind, when Chibnall was announced as taking over from Moffat, and I've got friends who will tell you this. Now, I knew him very briefly in the 80s, and he was a dick then. And this was after... Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
And that was after the whole open air fiasco, right?
You know him. You knew him. We didn't.
I can't say I knew him. I met him because I joined the infamous Dwoz Liverpool group for Dwoz, because that's where I was away to study at the time. And I met him very briefly. I think he was moving at the time somewhere. But I remember him at the time just thinking, ooh, interesting ideas, not going to happen. One of the things he did say was, it's a brave man whoever casts a woman in the role. That was interesting because it turned out to be him. But I reckon when he was cast, I had this shiver because I remembered some of these things. And he actually said that when he met with certain people at the BBC and told them what he wanted to do with it, they were on board with it. Now, he went into that show knowing that every decision he was going to make would upset the fan base and possibly destroy part of that fan base, which has happened. He knew he was going to cast a woman. He knew he was going to have a certain quota of companions. He knew that the storytelling he wanted to tell was going to be virtual signaling. And that happened to fit the agenda of a certain controller, program director at the BBC at this time, who went, yes, we love that. That's going to hit this KPI and this target and this tick box and that tick box. And that's why sometimes I also love the thing that, with certain things that have happened in the BBC over the last couple of years, and I'm going off track here, so please ignore this bit and let's get back to the conversation. But I actually sometimes do believe the rumor that Capaldi was asked to leave.
No. I had
a lot feel that way. Yeah.
You never heard this. You never heard this here, right? I had a friend that went for a drink with Peter, and more or less that's what Peter said. But that's not confirmed. That's not confirmed by me. It's just what I heard. It's just what I heard.
What happened in the BBC now? If you look what they've done to Sue with the question of sport, if you look what they did with Arlene with Strictly,
I was shocked by the question of sport decision.
Because my friend was saying, if you watch Graham Norton when Peter was on it the night before they were going to introduce, or they just introduced Jodie, you could see that he was very sad because when he said, when they asked him, why are you leaving, and who's replacing you, it was a bit of a spark in his eyes about who's going to be cast. But you can tell that he was quite sad and leaving. And as I said, I don't know if this is true, but one of my friends said to me, he went for a drink with Peter, and Peter revealed that he was pushed.
Yeah, I mean, I would go for that. You also have to remember that that night.
You heard that here first, everybody.
I don't know if it's true. I like to point that out.
The night he announced he was leaving I was listening to it. It was live on BBC Radio 2 on Joe's show.
I was there as well.
And he was in tears. You do not cry like he did when you've relinquished a role, all theoretical. But if I was an actor and I decided to leave a role, I wouldn't be that upset.
Yeah. No. David Tennant wasn't.
It will come out in the wash.
I can well believe it.
As Doctor Who fans, we know that one day everything from the Russell T era onwards to right now will come out in the wash, because
Yep,
we now
it
know
will.
things about the 60s, the 70s,
It's
the 80s,
good
the
point.
Paul McGann TV movie we didn't know at the time. I can't wait for the books.
And yeah, I mean, this is M makes this point here. There is a woke tick list of things you have to cover in your show to be accepted. I mean, not just as regards even people's exterior characteristics, but the texture of the stories: bad father, empowered woman in authority, white privilege, colonial girls, all these things, and it's over and over and over again. It's wearing people down, and it may have originally have been coming from a good place, but it's certainly damaging the brand now.
Well,
So,
everything there is an episode of Series 11.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
It's
you
so
know,
predictable.